XRP in my mind is already a commodity here in the U.S. Because the CFTC obviously Caroline has gone on to MoonPay at this point, but she met with Brad frequently when she was at the CFTC, and XRP is obviously listed on Bitnomial with a USD pair and traded as a commodity alongside Bitcoin and ETH. So all that being said, I think it's in a unique position to be used in a crisis moment, and we'll have a supply shock that pushes it to at least 3 digits. But 4 digits could happen before the Clarity Act, but I think I don't have a certainty on that. It could be that 4 digits does not happen until after the Clarity Act is passed. The other thing I would say is I don't know when the Clarity Act is going to be passed. If we don't get to some type of consensus on it here in the next really week, it's going to be very difficult, and it could be a much longer path to market for regulation here in the U.S. So let's say, we go another week, they finally get something drafted, it's put up for vote. Congress is really going to be focused on the funding bill toward the end of this month. If they don't get that passed, the government's going to shut down again. And they're not going to allow competing bills to take away from that. And we saw, even with focus on that, we had a government shutdown of 40 plus days last year. If something similar were to take place, we're really into March and midterms at that point, and Congress really won't get in the full swing of things again until mid to late Q2, maybe even early Q3, before they'd even be able to vote for the Clarity Act again. And if Dems take a lot of these positions, a lot of the progressive nature that's happened in Congress, both the Senate and the House, has come from Republicans. And if they no longer have majority, it may be much more difficult for us to see the Clarity Act passed here in 2026. Now, if we see price appreciation for XRP and some of these other digital assets, I think that there'll be some pressure on Congress to go ahead and move things through. And especially if we do see the need for the settlement of the back end of the stock market, tokenization of stocks, and all these things. I mean, we just had, New York Stock Exchange come out and talk about tokenizing stocks today. When I was listening to their president at Swell, interviewed by Monica Long, she said, mid to late 2026, they would be tokenizing the stock market.